That was a great intro. You all can hear me? Yeah. Okay, great. So this is cool. I've always wanted to do one of these. I'm pretty excited. So my name is femdot. That's what people call me. You all know that now, not because I'm like super famous or anything, but because of the whole bio thing that literally just happened. And most people who know me as femdot, they tend to know me as this rapper, you know, degree, I have a biology degree. You know, I am this guy who has a nonprofit, I'm a creative director, I'm a community organizer, I'm a writer as well. I do a lot of things, including now, I now am a TED talker, so a little love for that. And that's super cool. But that's what people who know me as femdot know me as. Now, my friends, people close to me, they don't really call me femdot often, for real. They know this guy, you know, the cool guy, right? This is fem, or femi, as you will, right? That's what my friends call me most times. And I am, you know, the one who will travel obnoxiously long distances to go into your party and hang out with you. I was known as the one who would, if you forgot your homework that day, I'll slide you mine, just get it back before, you know, before the teacher collects. I was known as the one who you would have to call a lot once I say I'm 5 minutes away, because I'm clearly 15 minutes away. I'm gonna get there when I get there, but I'm gonna make it happen. I was known for most of my friends as just somebody who could be the calm in the chaos. I was seen to be the one who is able to make sure that you're okay and give you advice if you ask for it. And that's who I was, and that's who I am to the people who are pretty close to me. Like, people who are especially close to me, they know me as this guy. Yeah, he's cute, look at him, he's a doorknob, he's tiny, it's beautiful. So that is what my parents know me as, and they also call me Femi, but there's a little more bass in their voice when they say it. Usually it's like, Femi, once I'm in trouble, or if I'm super far away. They're actually here today. If you can please make some noise for my parents, that would be great. They're doing a great job. I'm actually the second child they have to have a TED Talk, so they've done this already, so, you know, I don't have to impress them now. I'm just here to do me. No, but seriously, my parents, they know me as the youngest son, the youngest child. I am known as the one who seemed to somehow always lose his house keys. Don't get it, I was a habitual house key loser. I can't understand why. I don't know why. It frustrated me and my dad for years. We never really got a chance to figure out exactly why I lost my house keys, but that was very much a staple in the life of mine. I was also known as their professor. They would call me a professor. I would come home from school and just regurgitate whatever information that I knew. If I learned about the word esophagus, guess what? We're learning about the word esophagus today. That's kind of just how I grew up, and my parents, they seen at a very early age that I just was the one who liked to teach. I thoroughly enjoyed helping and letting people learn things through my experience as well. And that was super cool. And then you get to this guy. You see him right here in the corner, look at him. He's in it. This is my siblings. They also know me as Fem. Dilla, they nicknamed me Femdot. They know me as the youngest one who did anything they wanted to do and followed them around, to the point that I would literally sit outside their door while they were getting ready in the morning and just wait for them to get up and just sit outside while they're asleep and hope that once they get up, I can join them and help them out with anything that they're doing. I literally was the one that decided to learn how to cook, not because I was hungry, but because I figured I wanted to help my siblings in the kitchen when they made pancakes. I was the one who also learned how to do dishes early and decided to hop into the chore requirements a couple years early because I seen them do it and I wanted to help them out. These are things that I kind of regret it as an adult. I mean, I'm like, yo, my teenage years, I could have waited 2-3 years before I had to scrub the bottom of this pants, but you know, I'm here now. And that was who I was to them. I was the one that followed them around. I was the one that just wanted to be like my siblings in any way possible, right? And then look at this, jeez, look at this. I was the perfect wingman for my siblings. I was the one that wanted to help in any capacity, even if that meant helping them throw parties or sneak out while my mom wasn't home. The statute of limitations are up now. We're all adults, so it's fine. Sorry, Mom, I love you to death. But that's what I was here for. I was here to help my siblings out, and that's what they knew me to be. They knew me to be little Femi. The emphasis on little because I was maybe 3 feet 8 in this picture, and that's who I was to them. And then I also was rarely called, but from time to time I was called Afa Mueen. And my parents would say it with a lot of tenacity. They'll be Afa Mueen. See how my voice just spread through the crowd? That's how it would sound in my house with less space. Now I'm Nigerian, I'm first generation. I'm also born Muslim. And in the Yoruba culture, Afa seems something similar to like a youth pastor, somebody who is very familiar with knowledge and culture that is rooted in Islam. And that checked out for me. We were very heavily influenced by the mosque. I went to the mosque all the time. I used to lead the prayers in the house. I did Islamic Jeopardy competitions, all these type of things. I was a walking encyclopedia about everything Islam related growing up, thus the Alpha segment. Now the Mueen aspect of that is actually quite interesting because that's actually my name. That's my first name. Never go by it. No one close to me calls me Mueen, but that is the name that was given to me. And I always was like, I love this name. It's so fire. It's how it has like a little je ne sais quoi. You know, it just felt really good, but I never felt like a Mueen. I felt more like a Femi. That's what I've known. That's the first thing I heard in my head. I was a Femi. And it actually wasn't until 2020 that I realized the importance of my name and how it was not only just something that was given to me, but it was also a thing that pretty much set up what my purpose was going to be and how I was going to navigate through my own odyssey and through my own journey. I know I'm getting kind of fake deep here, so like just stay with me and let's just take it back real quick to May 2020, right? So, in 2020, I was coming off of so many years of just immense momentum. I just graduated from DePaul University in a degree in biological sciences with a minor in peace, justice, conflict studies. You see, they laced me up for the graduate. I was stepping kind of crazy. I looked amazing. Look at it. Come on, let's go. And I was coming off of that at the same time I dropped the album that was called one of the best albums in Chicago Tribune for that year. So at the same time when I graduated from college and dropped this album, I did some shows on TV. We did our second headline show. Our first headline show was sold out around the block. We're like, oh yeah, I'm about to make it. We're good. I'm about to quit my job. We're about to be great. I'm about to be the biggest rapper. This is what I need to be doing. This is my purpose. This is why I'm here. We even did Lollapalooza that year. Look at us in Jersey's doing Lollapalooza, jumping up and down. It was crazy. It was like 100 degrees that day. I'm like, we just did Lollapalooza. I'm about to be, we're out of here. It's to the moon. I'm about to blow up tomorrow. I didn't blow up tomorrow. That didn't happen. I had to keep going and keep pushing. We had way more things going on. 2019 came around, and I was trying to figure out how to be a full-time rapper, how to stay afloat, how to survive off of art, where your money is not as consistent or things of that sort. We thought that we had videos that hit 1 million views and all of these things, and we just knew that, okay, this next step is going to be big for us, but it didn't work that way. It didn't come as quick as we thought it did. So I was back on the drawing board, working as hard as I can to try to figure out okay, how am I going to continue to take this next step? Like, I know music is what I need to be doing. This is why I'm here. My music became much more storytelling type of orientated, and I was really trying to like tell the experiences of people around me to show the humanity in hip hop, and I felt like this is why I'm doing this. This is the path. So with that happening, I went back into the lab, I cooked up for a minute, and we ended up dropping this project called 94 Camry Music. Now, 94 Camry Music is the biggest project to date, over 50 million streams throughout the US. It's done great things, allowed me to roll out the 2020 Toyota Camry with a partnership with Toyota, partnerships with Lululemon, where we were able to set up yoga spots in different cities. We did a 24-city sold-out tour in the US and Canada. All of this was going so fast. My parents were able to see me perform for the first time in Chicago at a sold-out show based off the music I was making. I'm like, okay, now I'm about to blow. Like, I know I said that last time, but this is the time. So we're going into 2020, I have a bunch of momentum. I'm like, oh, this is about to be great. We're good, we're booked for a bunch of shows. Everything is going extremely well. And obviously we all were involved in 2020 and around, and I feel like the first 3 months of that year was the greatest 3 months ever. Like, January to March was phenomenal until it wasn't, right? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna be good. I come back from a writing camp in March of 2020, and I'm like, all right, I'm about to get ready to head out. And then the NBA stops. The NBA shuts down mid-game. We get 12 emails. I think I'll lose a year's salary in that email. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of serious. I should probably go, get some groceries or something at least. And I was like, something was telling me that my life was going to change in a way that I couldn't imagine. And it was divine for sure, but it was also because that day I went grocery shopping. I seen a woman who had a cart full, up bottom where the bread is, full of beans. Every type of bean you could think of, pinto, black, every canned beans. I'm like, okay, if somebody is buying a cart of beans, I need to prepare for the worst. Clearly, the world is about to change. So I went home, and obviously the world shut down. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was putting so much of my purpose into music at this point. I felt like this is what I need to be doing. This is why I'm doing things. This is how I'm helping people. This is fueling me. And I wasn't able to do any of that up to that point. I didn't know when I'd be on stage again. I didn't know I'd be able to do any of these things, and I felt like I wasn't being able to actually help people like I always wanted to. And then obviously when we get towards May of 2020, we are watching the murders of Ahmaud Arbery and George Floyd, and there are a bunch of protests going on. Everyone in the world knows where I would be on May 30th. I would be outside protesting, and to, just be one with the people. I'm like, okay, this is my time, I can go out. I made sure I was masked up, I was good to go. I had COVID test in hand and in deck, and we're outside, and I'm going to make sure I stand with people I'm with. So that's me, wrapped up, ready to go. We're outside, we're going to make our voices be heard. I went downtown Chicago. I was there for maybe 20 minutes tops, and then there was a disagreement between some protesters and some police in riot gear, and I ended up getting beat by 4 policemen. I had a gash on the left side of my head. I was bleeding profusely in the middle of the street. And I was able to stand up and gather myself. I was able to get my wound cleaned. Somebody who was protesting was also an EMT, gave me some gauzes, wrapped my head up, and I kept moving, kept marching, kept protesting. We're still outside, I'm with the people. So later that day, we noticed we had to get out of downtown because the mayor at the time was lifting the bridges up to separate the downtown from the rest of the city. Now, I lived at this time in Lincoln Park, on the north side of Chicago, very nice neighborhood by DePaul University. I was not able to go there at the time, so I had to go to my manager's house a little bit further south. I went to her house, I walked in, I'm like, hey, what's up? She's like, why is there blood on your face? I'm like, oh yeah, bleeding, got into it with the police, etc. She's like, oh wow, checks, realized I have a pretty deep gash that's going to need, at bare minimum, 2 stitches. Gave myself a concussion test when I got home, and I realized, oh yeah, I probably have a concussion. I'm gonna go to sleep and hope that I wake up. If I wake up, I can go to the urgent care by my house, but if I can't, then I can't. Go to sleep, wake up by the grace of God, go to the urgent care, I drive back to my side of the area. You would think nothing happened. Everything is completely untouched. There's somebody having a 6-year-old birthday party next to me, and this is now May 31st, 2020, so there's still looting and everything going on in the city, but the part where I was at seemed completely untouched. And I was like, man, like there's so much going on in the city and there's nothing I can do about that at this point. So with that being said, I end up getting 6 staples in my head. So I have my head stapled 6 times. And at that moment I realized I can't go back out and protest again because I can't get hit in my head. I can't afford to. So like, what am I gonna do? What's gonna happen? How am I gonna still, you know, this is the first time in a while I felt like I was still doing something that was purposeful. What am I gonna do? So I happened to be scrolling on Instagram, and I seen a distribution site on the south side of Chicago, because this next day, CPS cut off their food programming that they were having to deliver food to the young students who would come to school. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I can't go out and protest, but I'll take my credit card, I'll run to the grocery store up my street, which was untouched, unscathed, nothing was wrong with it, had a surplus of supplies. And I took it, grabbed a bunch of stuff, and we went down there and helped some of my friends out. So we were there at the distribution site, and once we got there, we realized people needed way more than food. People were scared, people were concerned, people were nervous, people needed feminine hygiene products, people needed baby supplies, people needed specific foods. It was more than just getting packs and snacks, lunch packs that we thought it would be. And we all realized after that day, after helping hundreds of people, literally in the Bronzeville community, that there's more that's needed here. So when I went back home, I'm like, okay, well, how are we going to be able to get the people who can't get here? The elderly, people who are in the house, who can't move, who are scared, how are we going to get food to them? So I call a couple of my friends up, we start resources, and at that point, we start the scholar slide line. So by June 1st and June 2nd, we are now delivering groceries, the specific grocery list for families all throughout the city of Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. The crazy thing about it, it's all mutual aid, we're accepting donations. People are donating money to me because they feel like I rap good, and they like the stories I rap about, and they trust what I'm doing with the funds. We take the funds, we set up a whole program in which this lasts now through the entire summer. We end up working with other food distribution sites, including the one that was still there, that became called the People's Grab and Go, that ran to the end of September. We had another one called Feed the West Side, and we worked in conjunction with each other. Well, they'll send people to us, we'll send people to them, and we'll just work as a community. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. And over $100,000 later, over 2,000 people fed, and over 200 volunteers later, we get to the end of September, and we're now wrapping up this program. And it was this moment when I knew that, okay, stuff is gonna get different for me. Something feels different. I think there's something here. We're doing deliveries, as you can see. We're typically going and grabbing food for folks and making sure we're dropping it off after coordinating with all our people. And I am taking the last delivery. When people come up and we get the deliveries from folks, like, okay, you know, if someone can't get it, I'll take it and drop it off. The last delivery of the day is September. So my name Mueen actually means the one who helps. And in that moment, I realized that even though it was a name I was not called commonly, it sparked me to be able to do things that fit my purpose. And I wasn't called it, but he called me. And I was forever grateful for my parents to bestow that on me and that name on me, for me to be someone who was seen as someone who helped me. As I look back at my relationships with all of the people I know over time, I realize that I've been one who helped in this entire time. So when I sit and think about my journey and where I'm going, and now really knowing what my purpose is, it's quite simple. It's just to live up to my name. Thank you.